So today, mainly what we are going to do with the presentation is we're just going to have an overview of AI tools and how it is going to be useful for our research. And finally, we are going to have some brief demo of AI tools. Okay, and there is one question. If we use without subscription, are we deprived of the source? But what I personally feel is that it's good that you can use without subscription also, because I always feel you need to be aware of AI, but not you should highly depend on AI. And secondly, you should use AI as a facilitator rather than as a generator, right? So it's always good. Yes, one question, one membership is taken, agent tracks our work. Right, that's very true. So now the question is, what is artificial intelligence? Why it is very popular? Because on the advent of technology since 1990s or 2000, which is very much close to our environment, which has become highly technical, whether even if you talk about management, business, or information technology and everything, we slowly invaded by the technology. But currently, once this AI is coming into a picture that we are highly dependent on AI. And currently, even if you see any newspaper, news, or any article, or if you take any industry, right, we are very much seeing this AI as a buzzword that is repeatedly used very often. The reason is its capacity. If you talk about AI tool as such, it is not something like a single technology that we are highly dependent on. It is actually a set of technology which includes machine learning, data analytics, predictions, forecasting, and everything. And also, the very important fact of AI is that it it is going to think on par with the human, but definitely equivalent, not equivalent to human. And when we talk about artificial intelligence, the current process that is going beyond that is we are making the machine to think like human beings based on the historical data that it has within, right? So who is the feeder? We are the feeder. We have to feed the data and it has to go with it. But in addition to that, it also have a capacity to generate. That is why even if you talk about GPT, everything is generative. Generative protocol it will have, and it is always act as a transformer. Okay, and I can see very many questions in the chat box. I think quickly after a brief presentation we can have a discussion, and we can include all the Q&A. And why A is very special? Because it's highly personalized, and it has some security features, and it is easy for us to collaborate with AI at all levels. And when coming to research, because today we are going to completely delve into research, I've just highlighted few AI tools here, like ResearchPal, Julius AI, SciSpace, and everything. Each has its own significance. And now the very special thing is if you take Chat GPT, Claude, Greg, everything has kind of same utility. Okay, do you all understand that? But if you compare that with the Trink or Lit Maps or Size Space, that is different. So it is our responsibility that if you're going to use any AI tool, first we also need to understand a similar AI tools with regard to its usage. And we try to use which is very much efficient and probably which is not forcing us to subscribe, right? Um, if you talk about literature review as such in research drafting, for research literature review itself, we may come across 3 to 5 AI tools, which is very suitable. But what I suggest is you take a call on that, pick one AI tool and be depend on it, right? So that is why we need to come across as many AI tools as possible. And being a researcher or a academician, minimally you should be aware of 10 AI tools, maximum 20, 30. But you need to be at least comfortable with minimum 5 AI tools. So you can be aware of 10 AI tool, but you need to be comfortable with minimum 5 AI tools, and you have to regularly use at least one or two AI tool. Even if you're using Meta in WhatsApp is also sufficient. Okay, but don't be highly dependent, but try to use it. Because how AI is making us to use it and take all our data and understanding our pattern. Similarly, you should also continuously use AI to understand its algorithm and pattern better. Because what is going to be future of academician and researchers henceforth? To do all the audit of algorithm what AI has generated, right? So when we come across AI tools, it's our responsibility that we need to be aware of as many AI tools as possible. We need to be comfortable in using at least 5 AI tool, and we need to regularly use one or two AI tool as far as research and academia is concerned. Now, what is AI role in research? Okay, and when coming to AI, 73% of researchers are actually using AI tools. That is what the reports are saying. And when we talk about AI tool, it is helping us to enhance our literature review, where thousands and hundreds of papers are processed in few minutes, right? And we can get a better analysis, tables, figures, data visualizations, slices to present our data better. And we can also use AI as a better assistance. Again, it is not to make AI to write our work, it is to use AI as a good assistance. And also we can make give a proper prompt to AI in order to make it think better and give us a better outcome, right? So completely AI is transforming academia and research, because I've heard that many technologists are saying that uh, AI is really ruling the world, but implementation of AI is yet to start. For example, now AI can do surgery, but is it implemented? What do you all feel? Answer is no, because it this is yet to be approved. Similarly, in many sectors, AI tools are ready, but implementation is quite limited or it is nil because it requires so much of authorizations. But however, educational industry is concerned or research is concerned, AI has actually reaching nearly 30 to 40 percentage of growth. That is what the recent research says. So when we talk whether AI is really transforming academia or research, the answer is absolutely yes. But AI is it going to dominate academia and research is absolutely no, right? And in what ways that AI can be used in our research work is our next question. For example, you all know when we talk about any research report or an article, we start from abstract, introduction, literature review, and after that, we should identify the research gap. Then we have to frame the hypothesis, objectives, and hypothesis. Then we have to plan our research with a very good, suitable research design, methodology, sampling technique. And once data collection process is over, we should come across findings and we have to list out the suggestions, and finally, we have to conclude. Right. So now when we talk about all these steps, when coming to structure of the manuscript, right? How we are going to use AI is a question. For example, when we talk about introduction, right? It's mainly concentrates on literature gap, background of the study, and to state the to mention the problem statement effectively, and to post a research question, right? All these four components can be easily scaffolded into the introduction part, for which we can use AI tools for better structure and quality. For example, Claude or ChatGPT, and Elicit for literature mapping, and Semantic Scholars for trends, and Grammarly for clarity. Right. So here you can see minimally 2 to 3 AI tool. You can leave Grammarly later because Grammarly is a basic tool. Now it is AI powered. Otherwise, when we talk about ChatGPT, it is very good. It can be properly prompted, and very in the ideation of research work can be done effectively. And Elicit is a wonderful tool for literature mapping. When we talk about AI powered literature, The major problem that can be reduced is it is not necessary that we need to manually go and search for articles, right? You can use AI tools to do all this deep dive of searching the article, screening the article, and synthesizing all the gaps. And finally, you can map it with your research work. In that case, you can use very well Research Rabbit, Consensus, iSpace, Connected Papers, and Lit Maps. But again, I have given so many lists, but you can use either one or two, right? But again, if you ask any AI to draft a paper, it will definitely give you so much of citations and references. Can we believe in everything just like that? What is your answer? For example, you are getting proper synthesis of literature review from an AI tool. What is our responsibility? We have to check each and every citation and references manually before submitting a paper with any journal. That is our utmost responsibility. Clear? And at the same time, AI can also provide you some illusion data. What is illusion data? Any guesses? Illusion data is more about which is not true, which is not real, right? And AI has the power to provide so much of illusion data. And when coming to research methodology, I personally feel AI can be rigorously used for research methodology because you can decide on sample size based on the historical research, based on the historical record of research in the same area, and you can also identify which methodology is suitable, and you can also find out some suitable data collection instrument, and you can also discuss about the timeline, resource optimization, and everything. In that way, AI tool will be very helpful. And you also need to understand that though you have these kind of AI tools, still you have to depend on your mentor or senior researcher or a professor to finalize it, right? And again, as you all aware, the data analysis now it's really transforming through Python, R Studio, and Power BI, right? Tableau. Even so far, quantitative data analysis parts were very popular, but currently qualitative data analysis is very much popular, right? Even you can have NVO and other zero Orange softwares, Vion tools, everything is becoming AI powered, right? So in that case, now quantitative and both qualitative analysis are becoming very comfortable using AI tools. In this way, you can apply all the tools for your research work. And when we talk about presentation of results, I think this is more important. You can present it in a visually appealing manner. That is very important with proper tables, proper figures, right? And now, data visualization is playing a vital role. Even when coming to abstracts, now people are giving more importance for graphical abstracts. So AI tools can be effectively used for that, right? But when coming to data analysis, I personally feel Python, Power BI, and Tableau is very popular. And this is a very critical area in your research article, right? When coming to discussion and interpretation. How many of you feel that this part also you can depend on AI? Can I just see some yes or no in the chat box? When coming to discussion and interpretation. Okay. I can see good, no, yes, but it is not 100% no, right? You can depend on AI tool for contextualizing, to prepare an alternative explanation, to see the theoretical implication and everything. But definitely, you need to have 100% of your voice and touch towards discussion and findings, discussion and implications of your research work. You cannot blindly depend on AI. Now, coming to crafting impactful conclusion, definitely you can use AI because AI can give you 5 to 10 alternative concluding remarks. Sometimes you may think that introduction is also having the same content, Research gap is also repeatedly informing about the content which you have mentioned in the introduction. And again, in the concluding remarks also, you will post it. In that case, you can depend on AI for better synthesis of terminologies, vocabulary, statements, and you can articulate it better and to ensure that you're providing some neat, coherent concluding remarks. So far what I have discussed is in the previous slides is all about the sections of your research paper draft, right? For each section, you can depend on AI tools, right? Exclusively. But finally, when coming to integrity of research, right? AI can always be facilitator. You cannot simply make AI as your author. You cannot generate all your research content by using AI without your inputs, right? So the non-negotiable principle with regard to research integrity in the AI tool approaches is honesty, objectivity, accuracy, openness, and you should never indulge in plagiarism, right? So if you feel that because of using AI, all these principles can be compromised, the answer is ultimately no. You need to be conscious enough to have 100% research integrity in using AI tool, right? And we are going to discuss about that, right? So what you need to know about AI detection, okay? Can somebody shed some light on AI detection? I think it's becoming very popular nowadays. Anyone? Hope not everybody having access to unmute. You can even use your chat box. What is AI detection? Is it becoming very popular? And which software has capacity to detect AI? Only Monopoly software. Turnitin, very good. Because initially we have Urkund, Original, Authenticate, and also Turnitin. All these four are actually a very popular plagiarism software. But all these softwares companies are acquired by Turnitin. And now Turnitin has become kind of a monopoly across global market with regard to plagiarism check or similarity index check. But Turnitin has come up with AI detection and it is providing that it is stating that it can 98% accurately detect the AI content. But honestly speaking, only 50 to 60% or 60 to 70% AI content can be detected. And we also have GPT-0 tool to detect AI, and we also have originality.ai to uh, detect. And also you have very popular software to uh, convert AI content into normalize the AI content. What is that AI tool? I think many of you must be aware of it. To convert the AI content into a normalized content. Humanizer, very good. I still remember one of my friends telling me, Chinna, I've used AI to generate an article. I received from an editor stating 100% AI detected. I just put it in humanize AI and again it was submitted and it was accepted now. 100% critically unethical practice, right? But maybe he would have did some extra works too, but still what his opinion is humanize AI is very effective, right? But again, as days passes, there will be a software which will also help you to understand that those humanized content can also be detected as AI processed, right? So all you need to understand is when some software is going to say that it is going to detect AI in 100%, you don't believe on that because still they are working on the softwares because we need to be conscious enough to understand our level of usage of AI. And you also need to understand that AI detection can be happen only with the concept of two things. One is perplexity, analyzing the perplexity and burstiness of the content. Okay. Perplexity is about the sentences and how you draft, what word terminologies you uses. Burstiness is about the number of words that you have in each sentences, right? So what I personally tell you is you can generate content using AI, but just use that as your input to your brain, and you just draft a original article and you can submit. And secondly, few journal editors or few journals accept AI usage to certain level, right? We are going to discuss about that too, right? When we talk about that certain level, you can very well use that. But what you need to do, once you're going to use AI into your text, you have to give a due acknowledgement of usage of AI to certain percentage and for what you have used it, right? For example, you can use AI tool for few things. Can somebody just list out in the chat box for what you can use AI tool? What are all the purposes, the purpose that you can use AI tool? And it is allowed by the journals. Very good. Review. Okay. Review. Still a question. Journals do accept usage of AI tool in case if you're using it for grammar check, citations, referencing, and in few cases you can also improve the terminologies or vocabulary, right? Like sharpening of state sentences, paraphrasing. Okay, but you have to mention that you have used a certain number of tools to certain extent. But what I personally suggest is you can use AI to an extent of 20 or maximum 30, definitely not more than that. 70 plus percentage of your article should be written by you, should be drafted by you. There is no other second thought or question about it. When I say this 20 to 30%, it is more about data visualization parts, generating tables and images, generating graphical abstracts, and generating references in appropriate referencing style, right? And checking grammar, doing a proper editing checks. For all this, you can definitely depend on AI. So now this slides show you what perplexity is all about. Perplexity is about, like when we talk about AI uses very low perplexity content. For example, whenever you take any interpretation content which is AI generated, it normally talks about the study demonstrates, the study explains, the study interprets. These are some common statements which normally generated by AI, which is highly predictable. But when we talk about high level of perplexity, if you take human being writing one inference, they may use different sentences, different vocabularies based on their experience in that word, in the language. For example, our research uncovers some wild surprises. You cannot expect this high perplexity content or word choices from AI tool, right? Of course this is very of course this is just an example, but definitely human beings cannot write in a very uniform way like how others are writing. For example, if a person who is staying in Karnataka is using chat gpt for inference format or outline, and a person who is in Tamil Nadu or Kerala is using a same inference point or content, more or less it looks similar. But when coming to interpretation part, definitely it cannot be similar because everybody uses language differently, words differently based on their knowledge, their inputs and everything, right? So what I personally suggest is, if you really want to escape from AI detection, because sometimes your writing itself can be taken as AI detected. That also happens. That's called as false positives and so many concepts that comes when coming to AI detective, because there is a scope that human beings writings can also be detected as AI, because end of the day all the human content is going to be at the back end of AI tool, right? So it's always good that if you improve your perplexity. And secondly, when we talk about burstiness is actually about the variation that exists in the sentence length. For example, if you see the example of AI pattern in the slides, if you see the sentences, normally it will have a range of, if the first sentence have a range of 15 words, second sentence have a range of 14 to 16, third sentence will have a range of 14 to 16. So can you see some uniformity, which actually having a very low burstiness? But when we talk about human pattern, the sentences normally be completely different. For example, if you say the first sentence you will draft with 5 words, and second sentence will be lengthy. Third one can be even more lengthy, and fourth can be very typically short, right? So when we talk about this kind of sentence pattern, then that cannot be detected as AI, right? So if you're really suffering with AI content, AI detection with your own writing, then which means that you have to read better, rework on your writing better by improving the perplexity and burstiness. That automatically enhance your draft and also your quality. So I always, whenever we talk about any AI related sessions, we keep on discuss about ethical usage of AI, which is very important because we teachers, faculty members dealing with research, we need to maintain 100% ethics. And whenever we talk about AI tool, it's always good that if you are disclosing all the usage of AI tools in your draft, so transparency is important. And you should always verify all the facts that are all generated by AI. You cannot blindly depend on that. So verification is the second step. And you can always use AI to assist you, but all the intellectual content should be created by you. And so you can own all the ideas and interpretation. And when we come to honesty, academic honesty is imperative for your growth and success. And finally, the golden rule is, if you wouldn't be comfortable explaining your AI usage to a thesis committee, then don't do it. To your research committee, then don't do it, which means you are doing something wrong. Okay. So this is all about today's presentation. We can slowly get into some live demo. Before going to demo, because uh, we are done with 45 minutes of session now. We have another 45 minutes. I can have some Q&A now for 5 to 10 minutes before going to live demo. Or shall we postpone all the Q&A to the end of the session? So can everybody unmute? They cannot, right? Okay, okay. I think they can use a chat box, right? Okay. Shall we go for a live demo? Are you all comfortable with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, right. Just give me a minute. So far, so good. Can I see some thumbs up or S in the chat box? Is everything okay so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Since you have already understood about AI tools and techniques in day one and day two, I think you already discussed about systematic literature review and everything. So today I'm not going to touch of multiple thing. I'm just going to show some AI tools which I normally uses and which is close to my heart. And we'll just discuss few things. And whenever we talk about AI, which is a very basic AI tool, which we always starts with, anyone? When coming to AI tool, okay, Chat GPT, that's the right answer. So we cannot talk about anything by leaving Chat GPT. So now I'm going to share my entire screen. Yes, my screen. Okay. Is it visible to all? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Right, perfect. So we shall just start with ChatGPT. And what I suggest is don't use any of your personal email ID to log in. Personal email ID to log in any AI tool. That's my humble request to everybody. Please use your institutional email ID. Okay? Because in institutional email ID, you're not going to keep any personal information if I'm not wrong. So you always use institutional Google Workspace ID. Okay, that is my personal suggestion. So I think this is what ChatGPT is about. And today, what we are going to talk about is to enhance your right draft and also its quality. So when we are planning to write a research paper, what is more important? What is the very first step? Yes, you can use a chat box, problem statement, title. Okay, great. But if you want to be very good in doing all those, you need to have a very good outline of your research work, right? For example, maybe if you want to write a paper on a remote working, okay, then definitely you need some outline for remote working. Now, how many of you are comfortable with prompting? What is meant by prompt? Hope you're all aware of prompt engineering, which is very much popular now. Can I see some yes or no? The chat box. Okay, prompt is a command to AI. Very good. And what is a good prompt? For example, I want to write a paper on remote working. Okay, so I'm just going to ask ChatGPT, write a paper on remote working. This is a prompt I have given. Okay, so now we are getting all the details. Abstract, introduction, evolution, advantages of remote working, challenges of remote working, impact on productivity and performance, psychological and social implications, hybrid work model, future of remote working, conclusion. So paper is ready. Okay, I think are you all okay? Are you still facing this audio issue? Are you all fine with this audio? Am I clear to all? Okay, right. Okay, yes. I have a 4-month-old baby, so it's always be little chaotic at home. Right. Uh, my gentle apologies for that issue. Right. So now this is a very common prompt that we can give, right? But as a researcher, how our prompt should be? Anyone can give some prompt in the chat box. Any prompt? Generate in-text citations. Okay. Very good. I think Madam Geeta has given as a researcher. Right. Act as a researcher and draft a research article, draft a scholarly article with 2000 words, which to be submitted for a journal of management. Just any journal. Okay, this is a very short prompt, but still it can be even more detailed. Okay, so now we got a different article. Abstract, introduction, theoretical foundations, literature review. Okay, again it got some advantages, challenges, conceptual framework, managerial implications, future research directions, conclusion. Can you see here, add 15 to 25 recent references in APA 7 format. Now, can we go back and see this article, remote working transforming the modern workspace? Very short abstract, introduction, every one line, two liner of advantages, challenges, and impact, future conclusion. Now, can you see a very detailed title? Remote working and organizational performance, implications for employee productivity, engagement, and managerial effectiveness. And can you see introduction is detailed, abstract is very much detailed. It also included nearly 3 major theories. And under literature review, it has given a thematic literature review. And coming to advantages, disadvantages, which is not very important, but still it has included. It has also included the conceptual framework, and it also provided some managerial implications, future directions, and it is ready to provide us 25 recent APA 7 format references. Now, can you understand the importance of prompt? See, if you ask me whether I'm going to use the same article content to draft my research paper, the answer is no. But when I give some kind of a relative prompt to a research article, what I will get out of it? Now, if I have no idea about remote working, if my mind is completely empty about the problem statements, what I can do, I can get some better outline of a research article by using ChatGPT, which is a very basic AI tool. And your prompt should be highly standard, which should provide or generate a content with intellectual tone. It should not be very brief. It should be detailed. In the earlier thing, I am not very sure about any theoretical background. But when I give a appropriate prompt or very related prompt, I can nearly see around 2 to 3 theories. Now I can go and find out those theories, read through it, and then I can get some knowledge about it, then I can work on it. If you see any good citations, answer is no. You can even add that in your prompt. Is it clear about ChatGPT, how it has to be used to get an outline for a paper? Can I move on to the next tool? Can I see some yes or no? Okay, right. Now, I always have a notepad list with me, and always I put this Grok. Okay, Grok is a very fine tool which is equivalent to ChatGPT. Grok is very efficient also. If you're very comfortable using ChatGPT, you can also very well use Grok to generate your content. Here again, I can give a prompt like act as a social science researcher, draft a scholarly article on remote working and its effects on work outcomes with 3000 words and with 25 in-text citations in APA 7 format, which to be submitted to the Journal of Business Management. So this is a prompt I have given. Okay. So it's a high demand. It want me to sign in. So now again I need to give the prompt because I'm going with login now. Act as a social science researcher, draft a scholarly article on remote work and its impact on work outcomes in IT sector with 20 in-text citations in APA 7 format and which to be to the Journal of Business Management. Safe to say I copy this. Let's see how it works. It takes some time to think. And here the process is little different. I think Grok belongs to Chinese developer. I'm not very sure. It belongs to China, I guess. In comparison to ChatGPT, Grok works better. And by using all this, you can just stick on to the outline of your remote work paper, which you're planning. It is not necessary that you really need to copy and paste everything. And what you can actually do is you can just take an outline and put it in a Word document, and then you can format it neatly and you can start drafting about it, right? So now can you see it is going with several search and it is going with several results and it is still in process. Now, if you are after seeing all this generated content, can you see that you are getting one perfect outline of remote working paper? How many of you feel yes or no? After using some basic tool, right? Can you get one outline? And the outline what you're going to get is completely about some basics. Now, can you see this draft? This is also a perfect basic draft. Title Remote Working and its Impact on Work Outcomes. The Information Technology, it's a scholarly review. And you got an abstract with keyword, introduction. Can you all notice the in-text citation that it has mentioned? Literature is highly thematic by including productivity, job satisfaction, work-life balance, collaboration, retention and turnover, discussion, limitation, conclusion. Can you all see even the references? Now your work is very critical. You have to check everything. And can you all see this 50 sources? And all the sources are listed here. Even the links are listed here, which you can very well uh, check. So what I suggest is, in order to get a proper outline of a research article, you always depend on ChatGPT, and if you're very comfortable, you can go with this Grok. And again, you need to give an appropriate prompt. Clear? And when coming to literature review, okay, I personally feel, because once after you're done with literature review, the immediate thing that you will be working on is with, once you're done with your title and everything, you'll be working only on your literature review. Now, when we talk about literature review, Elicit is a wonderful AI tool. Hope you're all already learned this AI tools in the previous days. Can I see some S or no in the chat box? Hope all these AI tools demo are already given. Maybe Chat GPT already given. Okay. Can somebody list out few tools which you're already aware of with the earlier days session so that I can skip if possible? Anyone can just type it up. Okay. So many semantic scholar citation gecko. Okay. So all these items are over. Answer this, paper pal, chat PDF. Okay. Grok is also over, which I've showed you now. Okay. Carrot, chat GPT. Okay. Grok is not over, so we have discussed about that. Right. Elicit not demonstrated. Okay. Okay. Okay, right. Good. So whatever is possible, we will look into it today in other uh, 10-20 minutes. My intention is not to give a live demo of all the tools. My intention is just to how you can use and you can improve your article, enhance your article structure and quality. Now the first thing is over. By using ChatGPT and Grok itself, you can enable your structure better, right? And now we are going a step ahead. For example, once you use Elicit, you can straight away explore all the papers related to your research problem which you have conceived. And when we talk about remote working, you can directly ask, provide top 10 articles articles related to remote working. So when we talk about Elicit got so many options for you. And when we talk about Elicit, you can very well chat with your paper. You can directly ask questions, and it will be very helpful for you. It is taking some time. Okay. Now, can you all see why Elicit is very popular? Because it has provided me 10 articles. And can you see the 10 article is actually having a summary for you. Can you see here? The 10 provided sources represent a comprehensive collection of recent remote working scholarship with the highest impact studies demonstrating substantial research engagement and methodological rigor. Now, can you see here? This one paragraph will give you a very strong idea or summary of 10 papers. Can you see here? Citation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this will help you to understand each paper, and you can also easily uh, synthesize your knowledge based on the review. For example, see here, this is a bibliometric analysis of 740 articles between 23 years, that is 2001 and 2023. And here it is talking about nearly 1996 publications on remote working. Again, here it is talking about 430. And when we read all this content, we are getting a summary of each paper. And one thing what I can tell you is, here you really don't need to check all the references. The reason is, when you click this, automatically you will get to know the source of the paper, which is the original paper. Can you all see here? Which is the original paper. So as far as you are using illicit, it is not necessary that you need to be worried about all the sources, because the link will directly enable you to get the paper, face of the paper, whether even the abstract with the proper DOI. Can you see here? It is actually a proper PDF paper. Immediately you can refer it. So this is the power of illicit for literature review. Okay, can you see? The paper itself you can see. So you can very well use illicit to identify number of recent articles related to your research problem, and you can also get a proper summary of each article. Because just imagine, if you're going to search 10 papers on remote working, and if you're going to read all the papers entirely, and if you're going to summarize it, how long you need? Definitely definitely it needs some time, right? But now you are quickly doing it, but it doesn't mean that you should not read the paper completely. After selecting from here, because I have just listed 10, you can even list 50, 60 or 100. You select here, save it. Okay, then you be very selective in including it in your review of literature, right? And can you see filters here? This filters can be within some period. You can say that it should be within 2020 to 26. You can also limit the quality of journal by including only Q1 and Q2. And you can just include some review. Okay. And you can include keywords which contains abstracts. Okay. It's all up to you. Now I'm going to apply this. Now, can you see everything is going to change? Not all paper will be available, but definitely abstracts will be available. Now, can you see that you're getting exclusive recent citations? Now the complete abstract got changed. Now, if I'm going to just do this by giving a copy, and if I want to paste it in a Word, I can very well paste it. Now from here, I can even think about it, how to work on it. Now, can you see the very first article got 111 citation, and second article got 92 citations, and third article got 54 citation. Can you ignore all these three article in your research work? Can somebody answer this? Can you easily ignore it? Answer is no, because this make your work easy. But later on, what you need to do, you have to do all the possible way to work on each paper based on your need and necessity. When we talk about papers, systematic review, everything is possible using this elicit. So I'm just stopping here with elicit. And next, one more or few more AI tool that I want to show you is maybe Note LM. I think this is becoming quite popular nowadays. Note LM you all can actually work on. This is a Google Notebook LM which will help you to interact with the paper. But what I would suggest is like not to use it only for interaction, but what you can do is I'm just going to create your notebook. And what you can do is you can upload as many work of yours as possible. I'm just going to add some of my works, maybe upload files. Maybe I can directly upload somewhere from the articles which I got. Just give me a minute. Okay, I got some few articles with me. So I'm just going to upload all the articles. Now, if you have some selective 10 articles with you, you can upload it. Now, in the left side, you can get a list of all the articles that been uploaded. Okay. So nearly 9 sources are added here. Right. Now, can you see? This will give you some audio overview, video overview. For example, if you are going to have some audio overview, you can generate some audio overview and you can hear it. And you can also see some mind map. Can you all see generating mind map based on 9 sources? You can have some quiz, you can have an infographic, you can have a flashcard. Why we are using this particular note LM is you will get a proper picture about all the selected article which you are going to use it in your work. And right from the tool, whatever you're working, this is very important because only when you're using an appropriate tool and getting a perfect idea about the extremely quality work, then automatically your draft will also be of good quality. Now, can you see the mind map here? This is work home interface. If I touch this, it will go to furthermore things which is discussed under this model. I can further go into it and I can find furthermore models and I can go further and I can see all this furthermore models. Now, can you see what is going on here? Now, I want to just think about some determinants of success. Again, it is supervisor, suitable, and individual. I want to know some challenges of remote working. Can you see social isolation, reduced viability, and everything? Yes. If you want to look into everything in detail, you can have a page like this. Can you all see the mind map? Mind map will help you to understand your content better. And now when we go to, I think audio view and infographic is still working. Since we have used here, we also got a chat here. Now in a chat, you can say, give a synthesized abstract on remote working. So it will just going to use only this 9 papers. You can even upload 10 papers, 20 papers, 30 papers as you like. Okay. Now, by seeing this particular abstract, can you see all the highlighted concepts, right? This will help you to understand the paper better. Now, what I would suggest is you really need not to study the entire paper one by one. You can go through this and then you can find which paper is more relevant. And then can you see how the citation is mentioned here? When touching that, you can easily go through the entire abstract. Now, can you see the infographic is loaded? Now you can see the infographic. Can you see the infographic? It is the AI generated infographics. And it is completely based on what? Can somebody guess? It is only based on the 9 papers which we got. Can you see the source of this infographic, which is Notebook LM? But now just imagine, can you easily understand all this concept? Right? For example, gender earnings gap in work from home. For a woman, working from home correlates negatively with earnings. And for a man, no such negative correlation. Right? Can you see negative work to home, positive home to work, negative home to work? What is the status? Least prevalent, frequently reported, most prevalent. Can you see the findings of all the papers as an infographic? How many of you feel that this infographic is useful to get a very good visual understanding? Can I see some yes or no? Hope you're all here. You're all listening and following this. Okay. So this infographic, you can very well use it for your presentation of your paper, and nothing wrong to say that it has been generated using AI tool, because you're going to acknowledge it. And if you're very keen on it, take a model of this and create your work on your own. Nothing wrong, right? So I'm just closing this. So this is all about Notebook LM. Can you see all the 9 options here? Whichever is suitable for you, you can use it. You can also see the video overview. You can see the audio overview. You can see the infographic. You can have a proper infographic and mind mapping. You can have a synthesized summary of abstract. You can also see some questions which the note LM itself generate. Can you see here how to identify conflicts impact the success of telework? Can you see how can organization align remote work with company strategy? If I click this question, I will get answer for this. So it is more about interacting with all the 9 selected or chosen articles related to remote working. Right? Shall I stop here with Note LM? Can you all, are you all fine with this? We are done with 4 tools now. I will just pitch in with 1 or 2. We have still 10 minutes. Right? So this, can you see all this differentiation, responses, strategic alignment with innovation? This is how you can interact with all the PDF that you have uploaded. Now, finally, I think we can still work on Jenny AI. And I also, my favorite one is Julius AI. Okay. How many of you are already aware of Jenny AI? Okay. Can you all see Jenny AI? Jenny AI is an AI tool which you can just visually use it. Why I say visually is, for example, just see, last time when I start giving a title, challenges of remote working among IT employees, a research design, it starts drafting a paper on its own. Okay. So what you can simply do is, you can just give a prompt. What are you writing today? Right? Anyone have anything on your mind? You can very well give a title of the research paper, which you want me to just process it. You can use your chat box. Yes, anyone can type it. I want somebody to type it. Meanwhile, I will just check one Google form. Correlation between thyroid and age. Okay. Okay, it's more about thyroid. Okay. Okay. Any other options? Okay, it should be on thyroid, right? So I just want to search this paper now. I am just going to keep it aside. Okay, it may be a research article on correlation between thyroid disease, age factor, and thyroid disease. Can you see here? The prompt is being the prompt is being assessed, and it says great prompt. Okay, you can just give enter, and you need to check whether which citation style you need. APA, published year filters last 10 years. Impact factor should be greater than 3. And can you see autocomplete, show autocomplete buttons, everything, and you can just give start writing. So can you see all the default outline, introduction, literature, methodology, results, discussion, conclusion. Now what you need to do is, it will write. You have to just give accept. Can you see? Again, accept. If you're not happy with the content, you have to give try again. Can you see? Try again. It will give different content. Now you can move to literature review. It will start writing literature review. Okay. Again, it will write literature review. Now you can move on to methodology. It will draft a methodology on its own. Now I want to ask you, how many of you like Jenny AI? How many of you like Jenny AI? Can I see some yes or no? Okay. But I personally don't like Jenny AI, but I use Jenny AI because you can get a very good format of sentences. It will generate content with so much of illusion information. You can identify variables and so on. Now, can you see I have actually my limit is over. Okay. And don't ever depend on Jenny AI completely. But again, you cannot say that Jenny AI references are good. But why you are going to use Jenny AI is very simple. You can understand all the formats, variables exclusively related to it. For example, I have already given few prompts. Can you see here? This prompt is about electro e-vehicle perception. And can you see a questionnaire when I give? It is not providing a questionnaire. It is providing a research article, which means this Jenny AI should be exclusively used for what? Research writing only. But again, what you need to do, you can use it, but don't copy any of its content into your work. Just try to understand each and every sentences, variable and factors it has conceived. So I think it's almost time. So finally, I want to show you my favorite AI tool, that is Julius AI, which you can very well use it for data analysis. And data analysis, I know that we are completely using a data analysis tool. And can you see here? I have already collected data from 198 respondents. This is related to electric vehicle brand preference survey insights from women college students. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to download this responses. Okay, I'm just going to download it, and it is there in my desktop, and it is zipped already. So I'm just going to extract. So now I can have the file here. So now with regard to Julius AI, what the special thing is, it will directly ask you, what do you want to analyze today? You can upload your Google Form file as it is. Okay. And it will be loaded. You can clean your data set. You can edit your data set. You can even do whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to list out, provide, directly I'm going to ask, provide major findings of the study. That's all. I'm not going for any in-depth analysis. I'm directly asking major findings. It is running Python code using AI, and it is going to provide me some major findings. So without doing any analysis, you will get a complete picture of it. Can you see here? Major findings. Respondent profile is there. And can you see awareness? Can you see environmental perceptions? Can you see range anxiety? Can you see the key barriers? And finally, can you see overall interpretation? People are worried about range anxiety, concerns about battery life, insufficient charging stations, and high upfront cost. Now, how many of you are confident by seeing this four major response, you can write your suggestions? Of course, you are going to generate tables. Of course, you are going to generate graphs. No doubt about it. But this 4 points, is it sufficient to write meaningful or related suggestions? Can I hear some yes or no? Answer is yes, right? Now I am going to say generate 2 tables and 2 graphs to represent the data. Very simply, it will run. It is not necessary you have to copy paste everything onto your research work. Not at all needed. But consume all the knowledge from that. Can you see? The graphs are provided. Can you see and can you see 2 tables? You can directly see it as a full screen, and you can download it. You can also export an Excel sheet. It's all up to you, right? So this is all about Julius AI, and I'm stopping here. And I always want you to understand few things. When coming to paper structure and everything, all you need to do is depend upon minimum 2 to 3 AI tool, but it is not necessary you need to uh, use all the data into your research draft. If you want to really enhance your structure, if you want to really enhance the quality of the draft, you have to do all the possible you have to use all the possible AI tools and give appropriate prompt. For example, you are not happy with the title, you can generate 10 scholarly titles. Title part will be over. If you're not happy with the abstract, you can give prompt with the scaffolding of drafting abstract suitable for that particular journal. Understand it. Draft abstract accordingly. If you're not getting any idea about due related keywords, impactful keywords, then what you can simply do is you can give due prompt and get the keywords. Right from introduction, If you feel that introduction is keep on talking about this running around the bush of same concept, you can just give some brief points. Don't copy paste your draft content directly into AI tool. Give few prompts, right, with few contents that you have already drafted, and then ask AI tool is put it in a logical sequence for drafting an introduction and background of the study, right? Then similarly, when coming to literature review, it is your duty, right, to collect necessary articles, but you can use AI tool to collect it. Download it, put it in Zotero or Mendeley, right? Get a summary, select which is very appropriate for you. Read the article, draft it, cite it using Mendeley or Zotero tool. Then you can go ahead with finding a research gap. If you're not confident in listing the research gap, upload all the selected articles in AI tool, and you can ask no tell them to provide a list of research gaps that is identified. Every article will have a future scope for further research. Everything will be condensed and research gap will be provided. You can rewrite the research gap accordingly, right? Then you have some doubts in methodology, whether to use descriptive design or exploratory design. And within that, you have some issues with whether to go for mixed methodology or purely quantitative or purely qualitative. See the historical data of that particular research area. If there are very few study being done in qualitative, then go ahead with the qualitative. Then you have any issues in sample, go with the preceding sample size or average of all the preceding paper sample size, or a sample size suitable for the journal which you are going to choose, right? Then if you want to identify the statisticals which is exactly suitable for your study, just put it in Julius A and ask some list out some 3 to 4 meaningful statistical tools to proceed with data analysis and presentation. It will suggest you pick from that. Do it in SPSS or Python or RStudio or Jamovi or whatever you are comfortable with. Paste the output, interpret it. If you have a problem in interpretation, get few models in using ChatGPT or another generative AI tool. Then you can rephrase it. Discussion part, write it on your own. When coming to conclusion, make use of AI to make it highly sequential in a logical order. And coming to references using Zotero or Mendeley software, you can complete your paper with utmost better structure and quality. So I'm stopping here. I know the time is exceeded. I've joined little late and I'm leaving little late. If you have any questions, you can very well post it to me. Otherwise, we can confine to our session for the day. Thank you all for the great opportunity given. My special thanks to each and every organizing committee members, and special thanks to Somasundaram sir for inviting me to be part of this FDP workshop. Thank you.
Kindly unmute yourself and ask any queries if you have. Any participants?
So I had a doubt.
Yes,
I'm Professor Juliet from Mount Carmel College. Now,
okay.
when we are using Gemini AI for data analysis, if we are using this and if we are disclosing that we are using this tool for
Oh,
data analysis, how well accepted is it at the publisher? Will
oh,
they ask output like SPSS or R outputs files for
yes.
further verification?
Right. Ma'am, no journals or most of the journals will not accept if you're going to, it is not Jenny A. Jenny A is for drafting, it is Julius AI,
Ah, I'm
exclusively
sorry.
for data analysis, and Julius AI output will not be accepted because Julius AI run all the analysis using Python. And even the problem with Python or R is that every algorithm will run at the backend. But they always expect some prominent tools like SPSS, RMOS, or PLS to present the output table so that the authenticity of the table can be very well conceived and identified. If you're going to use Python, the manipulation of data can be easily done. For example, if you're generating a regression analysis using um, Julius AI and you find that R value, the variance is very, R square value, the variance is very poor, less than 0.4. If you want to enhance it, Julie's AI tool is potential enough to enhance that, but not
Okay.
SPSS or almost. So output cannot be used, but you can very well identify the variable which is having a very good variance to run regression analysis. You can easily identify the combination of dependent variables which you can use to improve your analysis. That can be identified using AI tool.
Okay, got it, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Sir, in continuation of that, so the in-depth analysis, it is better to do using the software rather than using the AI tools. Am I
Perfect.
right, sir?
But yes, ma'am, very well good. But one thing what I personally feel is, ma'am, you can use AI tool for qualitative analysis. Because qualitative analysis, you're not going to provide any until or otherwise, you're going to just provide all the summaries and transcriptions, right? So
Okay.
if you use Julius AI or even any other AI tool, it can run Python because you can use directly Python codes for doing qualitative analysis. That will be helpful for you to present it directly in your work. And you can
Okay.
also acknowledge the AI tool which you have used.
Okay, sir. At least in terms of generating only the tables and the graphs, we can rely on, sir. Instead
Yes,
of
yes, very
wasting
well.
time in that,
Yes,
we can do
yes.
that.
Very well, you
Because
can
for,
do that.
yeah,
Yes,
because for
because
postgraduate research, we have a lot of questions to be asked. So if
okay,
we have to generate table, it becomes a little bit of time constraint for the
I know.
students also.
Yes,
So that
you
needs to be.
can,
Thank you,
ma'am,
sir.
because obviously you're going to put an annexure of all the data sets, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
there won't be any manipulation. You
And
can
we can
very well
still
generate.
mention that we had made use of this particular AI tool.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You have
Okay.
to acknowledge, definitely.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, any other questions, any other queries you have?
I find some questions in the chat box, but I feel that it's already addressed over the conversation
Yes, sir.
between.
Yeah.
In case of anything that's missed, you can let me know. I think they must be tired. Right.
Then kindly.
Before, so have we put the feedback? Sir,
Yes, ma'am. Already.
have you posted the feedback?
Yes, ma'am. Already I
Yes,
posted
it's
in the
posted.
link in the
It's posted.
chat box.
Okay, sir. So before we conclude, I can kindly request all the participants to fill the feedback. Your valuable suggestions and comments will help us improve, organize better sessions in the future. Thank you for your cooperation. Now, I would like to thank Dr. Chinna B for your wonderful and enlightening presentation. We appreciate the practical demonstration of AI platforms like Elicit, Google Notebook, Jenny AI, Julius AI, which made learning interactive and easy to understand. We truly appreciate the insights on how AI tools can support data interpretation, structuring conclusions, and improving the logical flow of research work while still encouraging originality in discussion writing. The tips on using reference management tools like Zetaro and Mandel to enhance the quality and organization of academic papers were highly valuable. This session has provided us with a clear roadmap to conduct and present research in a systematic, ethical, and technologically empowered manner. We are grateful for the time, knowledge, and practical strategies shared with us this evening. I would like to thank all the participants for your active presence and cooperation throughout the session. Before we conclude, this is the gentle reminder that our next session will be held tomorrow at 5 p.m. We request everyone to join us again and continue this learning journey. Thank you once again to our respected resource person and to all the participants. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, ma'am. And that's a wonderful emceeing that you are doing a great work. And my sincere appreciation to each and every one of you for all this beautiful FTP and arrangements. Take care and all the best for all the participants and also to the organizing team. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.